I wanted to take a moment and address the elephant sitting in every RV builder's hangar right now. That is the Vans Chapter 11 bankruptcy, the recent hearing, and what just happened is an announcement on their website about new ordering policies moving forward. Real quick, for those looking at me building an airplane, that will not happen in this episode. You can move on. But what I hope to share is a little bit about the path forward for my airplane. I'm going to try to stay away from redigesting too much information on what's already provided out there by other builders and really focus on how it affects me and my build. Brief recap, Vans announced that they were moving through Chapter 11 reorganization, bankruptcy, filings, and essentially they're focusing on the reorganization aspect of bankruptcy. That's not a new trick. That's what every company is going to do as they move through bankruptcy protection. More recently, I was able to tune into the hearing on December 7th, I believe it was, last Thursday, and just kind of observe the proposals that they're putting in place. And the idea is that hopefully they're protecting customers while trying to reorganize and keep their company afloat. Through this, I've continued to swing through moments of anger and frustration, and then back to understanding, and that tends to happen about the frequency that Vans releases new information. And I still will stick by my guns in that they don't do that frequently enough. They fail to communicate, I think, more often than not. And I understand communication is difficult in these times, but boy, they leave us hanging on certain items time and time again. How does this all affect my build? I did an unadvisable thing shortly after they announced that they were going to move through the Chapter 11 process, and I snuck an order in for my finishing kit. The timing of this might be advantageous for me. I believe, actually I know that it puts the funds that I gave them for the deposit within their trustee or deposit holdings account rather than in their operating fund, and gives them a little more motivation to work through my kit. What I'm finding today after reading their new ordering policies is that motivation to move through my kit might be short-lived, as it seems like they're able to redeposit these funds into their operating account pretty swiftly by saying, oh, we're working on your order. I suspect they'll also be calling quite soon for me to cough up the rest of the money for that kit, as they're able to do so when they say they are roughly 60 days from crating. And how they gauge that metric, I don't believe there's any court oversight into, and it's largely left on Vans self-governance to make that assessment. If you catch some skepticism in my retelling of this, there is. I don't think that there's adequate protection to the consumer, and I think that a lot of us are going to be lost in the sea of endless back orders and financial mismanagement yet again by Vans. That remains to be seen. What I am happy for is that I have an order in, they're going to work on my kit, and there's some good faith that they're going to do their best to make right by clients. I'm very happy that I only have one kit left, and that there's certainly an end in sight to me getting the parts I need to finish the airplane. Let's talk about finishing the airplane, because I've withheld some information, intentionally, yes. I just haven't fully known where I want to go with the build. I now have ordered my finishing kit. That means for those uninitiated in Vans, I've also designated which motor I want to use. And my plan for a while has been to use an IO 360 M1B in this plane. And that is still my plan moving forward. Originally, my plan was to order that through Vans, but that right now is up in the air. I don't know how they're going to handle engine orders. And after reading so many horror stories about engine deposits and endless wait times on Lycoming engines through Vans, I may be forced to head elsewhere for that. It may get to the point where I have to even rethink going with Lycoming. I don't think so, but I would have to see how much movement I have with the parts that are supplied in the finishing kit for the M1B and make sure that any engine I choose is compatible with that without too much duplicate parts ordering. My plan was to try and put an order together for an engine, firewall forward, and perhaps even avionics as soon as possible to keep this build moving. I'm gonna have to hold back for a while on that, which may delay the end date of this plane a little bit, but we'll see. Giving this whole process 6 months will offer an awful lot of time for things to come to light, and may not delay my plane too much. I suspect I will be receiving a finishing kit probably still within the timeline that I needed, which would be early next year. It's actually a little sooner than I wanted, but I pushed forward my timeline on that in order to get my order in. I have no idea where I'll put these parts. Likely it's going to push my hangar date up a little bit, and hopefully I can get that aligned. Either that, or I'm going to wind up having to, say, put my wings in storage for a bit to make room for a finishing kit until I move all of this to a hangar. The logistics of putting a build together this size in a garage this size is difficult, but I'm really reluctant to move to a hangar too soon. As I've heard from numerous people, that is like a death sentence to a build, is getting out to a hangar and then no longer being able to get out to work on your project. If I could stay here, work on avionics, hang an engine, and then move for final assembly to a hangar, that would be my ideal move. But again, space is limited, and I'm going to have to get creative on where to put certain parts in order to make that a reasonable path forward. That's about it for this update, and I apologize for those that are looking for some build. I am going to have a couple short episodes out to get us caught up to where I'm at. I'm gaining optimism that I'll receive parts in a timeline that allows me to keep working. In fact, the only thing holding up this build, as far as I'm concerned at this point, is likely going to be me, space, finances, and some other things. But we are cruising forward. I got plenty to do to continue working on this plane. I will see you next time, where we're going to do far less talking, far more building. Until then, take care. For those wondering, the price of my finishing kit has gone up a Vans estimated 32%, and I'm expecting at least that. Based on the price increases on similar parts now available on their website, it could well exceed the 32%, which, for a Vans finishing kit for an RV7, equates to about $4,000. I won't know for sure the total of the finishing kit until I receive a call from Vans or BMC, the servicer that is facilitating the contract management portion of the Chapter 11 proceedings. This also assumes that Vans isn't watching my videos and deciding to put me at the bottom of the stack with a 100% price increase, and let's be honest, if I were them, I probably would.